Okay, Valentine's Day.
Uh-oh.
Best or worst moment on Valentine's Day?
Uh, Actually, the first time a chick ever let me nut in her mouth was on a Valentine's Day.
Wow.
That was amazing, man. I listen, man. I ain't never
You held
been
no
listen.
punches with that
Oh
answer.
yeah, man. Oh my God, man. I remember, man. It was like, oh, oh.
Now, how young were you when this happened?
Shit.
Or how old?
I think I was like 17. Yeah, 17. I was 17. That shit fucked me up. Listen, man. Hey, fellas, you remember that first time, man? She let you Small. You remember the first time bitch sucked it up out your Smalls? Fucked you up, didn't it, Smalls? You never knew some shit could feel like that, did you? You know what I mean? Hey, it make you make noises that you didn't know a human man could make. Like, I'm telling you, man, when you feel that motherfucker coming and she's still on that shaka, 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 you like, oh, she ain't gonna stop. Nigga, that was the greatest shit ever. After that, that's like, you know how they say niggas smoke crack for the first time chasing a dragon? You don't want nothing else after that. Like, bitch, look, if you ain't doing that, don't even waste my time. That shit right there is glorious. So that's definitely my very first, Valentine's Day, best Valentine's Day, first on Valentine's Day. That shit was amazing, man.
Now, was that saved for you just for Valentine's Day from her, or was it in her tools, it just wasn't used yet?
I don't know. That's the crazy part. Because I never thought about that. I was too young to really think about it. If it would have happened to me now, oh, me and that bitch would have had to have a conversation right after it happened. Bitch, go spit that shit. Come sit right here. I'll put my drawers on in a minute. When the fuck you start doing that? Like, because that right there is
and
that's
another
that right
conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation you gotta have. Bitch, wait a minute. Like, you done sucked my dick 45 times. You ain't never did that. It's today that inspired you to suck that nut out me like that, bitch? Ain't nowhere in the world that's your first time. You don't do that so gloriously on your first time, bitch. So, you know what I mean? That might have sparked some different types of conversations. You know what I mean? If it happened to me for the first time as a grown man, I couldn't imagine that, man. I couldn't imagine not feeling that. And now as an adult, all the way grown man that's out here paying bills and shit, and that shit was to happen, man, you might not go to work the next day. Yeah, I'm calling in. The Lord blessed me too much to leave the house. I'm just gonna stay in here and just salvage this shit that just happened to me last night. So, but yeah, that's definitely my favorite Valentine's Day memory if I had to give one.
Have you ever broke, or maybe even one of your boys, maybe you heard this before, but have you ever broke up with a girl? Maybe it was already dwindling down, it was on its way out, but you knew Valentine's Day was approaching. Did you ever break it off with somebody just because you wanted to avoid that holiday or that situation?
Nah, man, that's I don't really look at that as something that's a man should do. You know what I mean? If you don't want to buy her, don't buy the bitch nothing. That's what it is. Don't be afraid. They'd be scared they're gonna lose that pussy though. So it's they make up an excuse. But nah, I've never felt the need to do that. If I don't want to celebrate, then I ain't celebrating. It is what it is. You gonna be mad? Okay, whatever. Give a fuck.
Now, okay, what about when you are dating somebody and it's relatively new?
Right.
And it's around January, headed into February and Valentine. I mean, when is it, are there any rules or guidelines when it comes to, okay, you just got with somebody and Valentine's Day is here, but it's not serious yet, but how does that work?
I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you. It's how valuable is that pussy in your life? You know what I mean? How valuable is pussy in your life, period? You know what I mean? How valuable is companionship in your life? All that play a role in how you look at a day like Valentine's Day. Because if you in a relationship, you know what I mean, you're going to get that same pussy that you got on the 10th, on the 14th. It's just going to be dressed in something different. You know what I mean? It's like you still eating a hot dog, but the first time you ever had it in the King Hawaiian roll, it might be a little different. That's what all they doing. They putting King Hawaiian rolls on that pussy. You know what I mean? So it's the same pussy you been getting. It's no different. You're going to get the same pussy you got on the 9th, and you're going to get it on the 16th if you're going to get some more. So I just think that, it's one of those holidays. This is the reason why I think Valentine's Day is so important to women, because women love differently than men. women are very emotionally attached. Women are very passionate. Women are very hands-on. Women are very, what I'm saying, clingy in a lot of different types of ways. And they like to love. If a woman love you, man, it's a different type of. They worry about shit that you don't worry about. You got a headache. You want to go to the emergency room. You okay? You take your medicine. You ain't breathing right in your sleep. You need to. They just love differently. So when a day comes around that's centered around love, they just feel like in their minds they want to be reciprocated that same love that they give you, even though you as a man don't love that way. On this day, they want you to love them as passionately as they love you. I think that's what that day means for a lot of people. So I think that's why it's such a touted up day. But at the end of the day, if you're a man and you show your appreciation, your love on a daily basis, then, you know what I mean, it's just another day on the calendar if you think about it like that.
Any do's or don'ts for the fellas out there on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, do if you got an old lady and y'all, are into that, then do what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Communication is key in all of those situations. So be honest and upfront with your woman, man. Like, if you ain't into that shit, let her know you ain't into that shit and why. And if she love you and respect you enough, she should understand that. You know what I mean? But don't go out like Willie Lump Lump. And what that means is don't be out here, going crazy trying to impress nobody, especially for some pussy that you ain't even got yet. Like, you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because a woman know whether or not she'll fuck you within the first 5 minutes of you talking to her. She look at your shoes, your teeth, see how you, talk to you for a little bit, and she know whether or not she would give you that pussy. So if you feel like you got to go above and beyond on Valentine's Day to kind of help your chances, you might not have good chances. So just don't trick yourself on Valentine's Day. But other than that, just enjoy it, man. Act like you ain't never had that pussy before. Get that pussy new. You know what I'm saying? Make that pussy. I don't know what you could do to make that fuck in a different place. Hit this bitch on the top of the car or something. You know what I mean? Do something spontaneous. Other than that, it's just another day.